Insurance. It's a word of much confusion for many. How can it help me? What does it even mean? Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of the Game Changers podcast. My name is Quinn Sejis, and it's a privilege and pleasure to be here with you as usual. My next guest is a young man who has now dedicated his career to helping people traverse the world of insurance. He has such an amazing story, and I can't wait to introduce him to you. His name is Osband Small, and here is our interview. Hello, Osband. How you doing, bro?
Hi, you did. Doing well, man.
You know, we've been meaning to have this episode for a long time, and our schedule
Very
never
much
really
so.
aligned. Yeah.
Aligning. But it feels like we have to wait for the winter solstice. The planets have to align or
It
something
seems
like that.
so. Well, I'm happy to finally have you here. 'Cause I know you're a deep thinker, so I like to have these type of people on my podcast.
Well, boy, I try my best to win. I try my best. I'm blessed by God's grace, so
For sure, for sure.
you know already.
All right, let's do some general introduction. Tell the people who is Osband Small.
Okay, so Osband Small is a Seventh-day Adventist child of God. He's a family man. Um, he is a personal financial, he's an advisor. I'm contracted by Sagicor as an insurance advisor, and I am also I have a small consultancy firm as well. But yeah, that's pretty much who I am and what I'm about, helping people put their finances in order for the future and
Right,
securing families.
lovely. Now you said that you're into insurance. Tell me what exactly
Uh-huh.
insurance is, because many people don't even know what insurance is. I mean, they've been hearing insurance maybe from the time they were children, but don't really understand what the concept is. So, what is insurance?
Okay, so insurance is a contractual agreement between an individual and a company where the individual agrees to pay a monthly premium, and in exchange, the company promises to secure that individual and their beneficiaries against a loss, a major loss, whether that be the loss of a life or the loss of some kind of an asset or something of the sort.
Interesting. So, we now know what insurance is, but why did you pick insurance? Or did it pick you?
I'll be honest with you, Quinn. I didn't pick insurance. Insurance picked me. Insurance picked me. It's an interesting story. I was actually approached on multiple occasions, and given the offer, but I mean, hence in Lucia, when you have a government job, you you don't usually drop it. I didn't have the mindset that I have right now, and I was a little bit apprehensive to take it on. Eventually, I took a shift into real estate for a stint, and whilst practicing real estate, I was marketing for a real estate company. Um, a close friend of mine just brought the offer to me. He was now managing at Sagicor, and he gave me the offer, and I said, "Okay, well, no, why not?" You know. And since joining, it's really been quite an experience.
Interesting. So, we're saying that insurance was not your first love, right? Initially.
Originally, no.
Interesting.
Originally, no.
And I always find it intriguing when people discover something that they're passionate about without going after it, right? It kind of finds them like it found you. And I find it pretty,
Yeah.
you know, interesting that it found you and now it has become your passion.
Definitely.
All right. So, when did you start insurance? How long have you been in this business?
Okay, so I was officially contracted by the company in October of last year. So it's been about a year and a couple of months.
But okay, so let's go back into history, because I always know that there are certain things in people's lives that inform their decisions in the future, even if they didn't know at the time that it was building them for that future. You spoke about a real estate gig, but before that, when you went to school, was there anything in your schooling that kind of informed getting into this type of business or into business in general?
Well, that's quite a story, yeah. Um, I've had a liking of business for quite some time, right? But I didn't always know that I would be going in this direction. For quite some time, I thought I might have gone into the medical field or the science field because my mother and my father are in those fields. Um, so I actually left St. Lucia, went to Cuba for quite some time, and I was looking into originally studying medicine, then I ended up in an engineering program. And from there, I decided that engineering was not really for me. So I came back to St. Lucia. I since then I'd forgotten about business. I didn't even remember that was a path. And I ended up while I was waiting for another program to get back into a medicine program in Mexico. I got into a short training program just for entrepreneurs. I figured it'd be interesting. If I must be honest, I thought there would have been an individual there. So I went there thinking that I would have been meeting this individual on a daily basis at this activity. The
Wow.
individual never showed up. Yeah, I know, right? But since I was there, I might as well make the most of it. So I was there. They put us into groups, and we were supposed to basically put together a business plan together and try to start it out, and then give a presentation on that business to a panel of professionals in various industries, also possible investors as well. Um, I came into the group not as enthusiastic, but coming to the end of the program, the person who was placed in charge of the group decided that they were out of there. They got a job, so they just jumped out of
Wow.
the entire program. And then the group was left without a head. So they basically put me in charge of it. I didn't really have much of a choice. We originally started in the back, and by the time of the end of the program, when we had to give our presentation, we ended on top and we actually won that whole session. And we actually received, I think, around $3,000 to help in starting up
Wow.
a small business. So that was the first thing that kind of told me, okay, maybe I should be going in the direction of business. From there, I said I'd go to South Africa and maybe do a few courses while still waiting for the same confirmation from Mexico to go study medicine. When I got up there, there were no science courses available at all. And the only courses that were available were business courses. So I said, okay, well, there's an accounting course. I'm going to try the account. Let me see what it looks like. I did the accounts. I've never done accounts before, and I ended up topping the
Wow.
class. Right? That was the first time I'd ever topped a class, like from secondary school. So, like, Lord, are you telling me something? From there, I said, okay, well, whilst I'm waiting for that, I'm going to pray. I see this school here in St. Lucia called Monroe College. Love Monroe. You get the opportunity to go there, definitely go try your best to get in. I applied and I prayed and I asked God, Lord, if this is your will, help me to get into the school, help me to get a job so I can pay for the school, and help me so I could get my license. And I ended up getting an offer that same week for a job in the licensing department where licenses are made.
Wow.
And then after that, when I got into schooling there because they accepted me. I ended up getting a scholarship. So I was like, okay, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. Maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I started a management program, and then I eventually specialized, focused on finance. And since then, I've just been looking for opportunities in the finance realm,
And you found yourself in the ultimate finance field, right?
in the belly of the beast. That's right.
I'm seeing, like I said before, so many times in life, right? There are things in our lives that inform our future, but in the present moment, we don't see it as that. I also hear that you highlighted a lot faith as a driving force for you. Speak to the importance of your faith, maybe, as a driving force in your decision making thus far.
In my decision so far, really and truly, everything I have to do, every decision that I make, I really pray about it, and I ask for some guidance from God on the matter, because when I think about it, the place where I am right now was not the place that I ever thought I would be. And if I had to go based on my own personal judgment and my personal thoughts of myself, I would have never taken this path. I'd probably be in a mediocre role somewhere else, trying to do something that I thought I was supposed to do, whilst not necessarily having the gifts for it, you know? But the beautiful thing about when you choose to ask a higher power for guidance, specifically God, the creator of heaven and earth, He knows you better than you even know yourself. So I always tell my clients this, especially if they don't know what's the next step for themselves. I tell them, hey, I don't know what's your background, but it may make sense for you to check out God, because He really knows everything and He knows everyone better than they even know themselves. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just been a wonderful experience for me, and it's been from success to success by God's grace. There have been challenges in between, things that I haven't seen how I'd be able to overcome, but He's helped me through every single one of those.
I love to hear that, man. I love to see how, faith often informs business because you must believe in something to drive you forward. And for you, that is your belief in God. So I like that a lot.
This ad slot could be yours. In a world filled with stories, make yours resonate. Introducing Prime ad slots on our podcast, the gateway to a captive audience eager to hear your message. Secure your exclusive ad slot now. Contact via our Instagram page to find out more.
All right. So let's get back to insurance. I know that every industry has a particular business model. Every business has a particular business model. And I know that even in insurance, there might be some differences between the different business models. What is your business model? Take me into your personal business model.
Okay, so being contracted, I guess everybody develops their own processes over time. What's really important in our industry is meeting as many people as we can. And the more people we meet, the more people we're able to share information with, the better able we are to change the mindset, on the island, and to help people see the benefits that exist. So key to our business is meeting people, meeting as many people as we can. Getting contact, setting appointments, meeting these individuals and sharing the information with them, and then showing them how insurance can protect their families from the inevitables of life. Because it's not a pretty message per se, but it's a reality. It's a reality that people try to hide from. We generally are afraid when we think of the morbid topics of death, of accidents, of the unexpected. But the reality is that these things do happen, and it's our responsibility as advisors to go out and to bring people's attention to it so that it doesn't have to be a fear, but it can be just a consideration in life. When you don't have the necessary policies put in place, then the thought of these occurrences becomes a fear that you're worried about and you're not sure what you're going to do. But when you've taken the necessary actions to put something in place in advance, then you don't have to worry about them. It doesn't become a fear anymore. It just becomes, oh, yeah, that's just a possibility in life. But I have this to protect my family if anything does happen.
That's beautiful. Yeah, so you provide a game plan for people in case life happens, I guess. Because life,
Pretty much.
I mean, we like to plan, but things just happen. And it's good to have a contingency plan, in case life goes into a direction that you didn't expect it to go. And I'm saying that.
I'll give you a very good example of that in practical life, even outside of just insurance. Something that we could all learn from is having an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a fund of money that stays on a side only for the purpose of some kind of an emergency that you didn't see before. And it's not just like, oh,
Mhm.
there's a sale, I should spend this money now because I don't know
Right.
when another sale will come. No, it serves the purpose of my car just broke down. I have a broken leg. Whatever kind of emergency that I've lost my job, they're going to give me a new contract, and for that period of time I won't be paid, right? All of these different things serve the purpose. Well, emergency fund serves the purpose of securing you against all of these things. And just so that you know, an emergency fund is usually 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses. So once you have that in place, that's a really
For
good
sure.
step up.
Yeah, so I love that. All right. So I guess my next question is, who is insurance for? I mean, what type of people do you help?
Okay. So the reality is that insurance can help everybody, right? We as advisors try our best to focus on a niche that we're best able to communicate
Mhm.
with and connect to. But the reality is that everybody needs it. The young person who may eventually go for a student loan would need some form of insurance to guarantee that loan. Um, the older person who has a family, kids, they need that insurance to make sure that if they're not there anymore to provide an income, the insurance company can then step in on their behalf and provide some form of an income or a major lump sum of income to support the family through that time of difficulty. um, Everybody, if they're looking to get some kind of a mortgage, needs to have some form of life insurance. If you have a vehicle, you need your vehicle to be insured, not only for government regulation, but also because, hey, you never know what can happen on the road. If you have a house, we live in a country that's constantly battered by hurricanes. You want to make sure that your house is insured. Insurance serves a wide range of purposes. If you rent a house, most people don't even know about this, but if you're renting an apartment or a house, you can even insure the things that you have inside of that house just in case it's broken into or anything of the sort. So insurance really helps. It helps everybody. It helps anybody can benefit from insurance. It all depends on what your needs are. And that's where the advisor steps in. Because we come in, we've been trained by the company to review your finances, see where the risks lie, and provide you with the necessary guidance to secure yourself against
Beautiful.
those risks.
So you saying that regardless of where you're from, regardless of your financial situation at that time, anybody can benefit from some level or some type of insurance. Beautiful.
Very much correct.
I hope that our listeners take that to heart and understand that this insurance thing is not just for people who have a lot of money. Because I mean that's a misconception. Right?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Quinn, I'll tell you what. Some of the people who benefit the most from insurance are individuals who come from disadvantaged households. Because insurance, particularly in the case of life insurance, right? It gives you the opportunity to totally change your family lineage. An individual can come to us if they're in good enough health and get a sizable policy, sizable money that they would never even be able to make in their lifetime with their current um, job or their career, and secure that money for their children should they pass away. And that's an amazing thing. There's nothing in this world right now that can provide that. You can basically change your family tree, change your generation, and inject generational wealth in there. Of course, with the right planning, because you don't want to make a blessing a curse in your life.
Wow. That's deep stuff, you know. Uh, to anybody, again, especially maybe I could say if you're from a disadvantaged background, you can benefit from insurance. I like that.
Very
Okay,
much
husband.
so.
So we're moving into my personal favorite segment of a Game Changers podcast. It's called the Quick Hitters. Now, Quick Hitters are
Oh,
questions that go by quickly, rapid fire questions. So do your best to get them out of the way as quickly as you can. Are you ready?
let's go.
So, quick hitter number one. What is the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
The best piece of advice I've ever gotten is don't give up.
Wow. Short and sweet. I like that.
Don't give up.
Number two. The next question is, who is your hero?
I'd say Jesus. But I guess if we're talking about somebody here, in on this planet, somebody else I can say is a really cool person is Dave Ramsey. He's a financial advisor based in the US. He advocates for um, basically moving away from debt because the borrower is slave to the lender.
And I follow Dave's show sometimes. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right. Final quick hitter question. Who would you like to see on Game Changers? But there's a catch. You have to help me get this guest on.
Man, that's no problem, man. I'll lock that up quick. Um, he's actually working on my website right now for my business, and his name is Kuran James. He has a business called Reach, and they've basically focused on IT services, specifically related to programming and development.
Kazan is our mutual friend. So I know.
Yes, very much. So I know that'll be easy for me.
I'm looking forward to that episode for sure. All right, so we're moving out of the quick hitters segment and we're moving into the back end of the interview. But I do have some very important questions for you to wrap this up. Speak
Okay.
to the importance, husband, of a healthy mindset. Because I know you're very deep on personal development and developing the mind and improving the person. So speak to the importance of a healthy mindset.
Well, Quinn, I mean, there are hundreds of books that talk about it. The reality is that you can achieve nothing of worth if you don't have a healthy mindset. Even menial tasks. And we see this a lot here in St. Lucia. Customer service is not always the best. If you don't have the right mindset, you can't really do anything good enough. Everything that you're going to do is going to be haphazardly done. Everything that we have in this world had to start in the mind first. When we speak about things that human beings have created and done, it had to start in the mind. And if you don't have the right mindset, boy, I had to especially learn this in my job because sometimes you experience a lot of disappointment, and for you to effectively deal with disappointments, you need to be able to look at life through a certain lens where you understand that disappointments will come and they are part of what makes you a better person. They are the building block to your success in the future. They teach you the lessons that you would need to get to where you're trying to go in life. And my manager says it like this, right? Take the most successful person that you could think of. If you had the opportunity to put yourself in that position without experiencing all of the disappointments and challenges that that individual would have experienced, we wouldn't give you a week before you crumbled, because you cannot deal with the success without going through the challenges. And that's just one place that mindset comes in. And that's why I advocate for mental health and wellness. It's extremely important for your success down the line. I always tell my clients to exercise, get into exercising. I really try my best to listen to them to see if I get any limiting ideas that they may have. Because a lot of us here in St. Lucia have experienced trauma, and trauma really has the ability to stop you from achieving your fullest potential, right? So mindset reaches into so many different places, but it is one of the main points that we need for success. And when we can deal with our mindset and really make it the right mindset, when we can establish that growth mindset, then we're able to achieve almost anything we put our minds to.
I couldn't have said it better. Right? Without a healthy mind, you can do nothing. All right. So, this is the question before the last one. Somebody's looking at this and want to speak to you, want to learn about some details of your premiums, want to learn about you as a person, and wants to do some business with you. How can people contact you?
Okay. So you have the option of contacting me via WhatsApp, 485-4656. That's one way. That's my business number. But then you can also go to my Instagram at Osband Small. I post videos on a weekly basis about personal finance, about personal growth, and it's a wonderful asset to have.
And we'll definitely leave the links down below to all your contacts. All your information should be in the description of this episode.
Wonderful. I love that. I love that, Quinn. That sounds great.
Final question. A young person
Okay, let's get it.
is looking at this interview and is inspired by you. They want to get into business. Might not necessarily be finance or insurance, but they want to get into business. What advice would you have for them?
So self-investment, you can start off with either maybe doing some form of a course, or maybe a program online. There are multiple ways that you can get access to some form of training through some kind of course. Outside of that, you can also look at the possibility of getting a really good book, maybe something about personal development. One really good book that I can encourage you to look at is The Mountain Is Me by Brianna Weiss. And another good one is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Those are two really good books that you can look at. You could also look at exercise. Make sure you get your exercise. You eat healthy. These things really contribute and benefit your personal growth. What else? Sleep properly. Get some sleep, man. Sleep at the right times. It cannot be overstated how important getting the right amount of sleep is towards your personal success. The final thing I can think of in terms of self-investment would be nurture good relationships. So that's in your business networking and that's in your personal life. Have the types of relationships that will contribute to your success. People who push you forward to doing much better than you've ever done. Reach out to individuals who are in the space that you would like to be so that you can get that mentorship, right? Once you've done with the self-investment, if you're really looking into going into a business field, oh my gosh, get into a sales job. Get into a sales job that provides you with the training that you need because that will be one of your biggest assets. The self-investment side through studying and doing courses will give you the experience of not necessarily the experience, but the knowledge. But actually working in a sales related job, that's going to give you the hands-on experience that you need to really make a business successful. And the final thing is just start. Just start. Just do it. Just start. You need to start. If you don't start, you're never going to do it. So once you've done that, once you've gotten the experience and you've built the courage, you start.
Absolutely. That's great advice, man. Great all-around advice, I would say. And that's good for anybody who wants to start a business endeavor. Osman, I do thank you so much for coming on today. I do thank you for taking time off your busy schedule to have a conversation with me and our listeners as well. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it just as much as you, and I appreciate every individual who watches this video, every individual who's interested in their personal development. It's really important, especially for us here in St. Lucia. We've been experiencing brain drain for quite a few years already, and our country has really suffered from it. So we as a youth coming up, this new generation, we need to make the most that we can because we're the ones who are going to take the helm of this boat, St. Lucia, and bring it to the place. Well, a better place. We want to make a happier country, a safer country, a country of intelligent people who are willing to put the work in and who make it just a better place. So yeah, thank you everybody. Thank you, Quinn, for the opportunity, and man, it's been great.
Okay, guys, this has been yet another episode of the Game Changers podcast. And to thank you for coming on and listening, remember to like and subscribe and follow us across audio streaming platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, you can get Game Changers. So as usual, and to thank you once again for coming on, and stay hungry, and I'll see you next time.